catalog in the palm of your hands. But not only can you have that in the palm of your hands, actually you can then have a way of ordering.
Whenever people hear about mental health, banakana rakula. You know what I mean? Like when I'm like, what No. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about complete wellness of your mind, complete wellness of your heart, complete wellness of your gut, complete wellness of your body. So overall health, right? So my story starts in Madidi in the Northwest. I'm a village boy. You know what I mean? So it doesn't look like it. I know, I'm cute and stuff. I know, it doesn't look like it. I don't look like I'm a boy who is like, you know? I don't look like that. But you grow. You grow when you're taking care of yourself. So I had an issue with epilepsy. I used to get
connecting line is that you can actually place an order on this platform, on the e-commerce platform, and actually the goods you are looking for could be sitting in a warehouse. And once you have ordered those goods, the first thing is that you will have the possibility that those goods will be moving from the warehouse and they can come straight to you. If you can see my number 6 there, those goods can come straight to you. You are no longer leaving your house. Are you with me? You are no longer doing what? Leaving your house. Now, as I'm here today, I am 1 hour away from home. My wife can easily send me a text message and say, can you please buy bread when you come back? Can you please buy 1, 2, and 3 when you come back? And I would feel like I'm still enjoying Orange Farm. I don't want to be disturbed.
Around and then we'll make things happen. Now, let's see the celebrities and that's why Barasa. You know Barasa like that. Len knife nek dula Orange Farm ke bona selo. Ma ke ga ngobe nka be rasa len. Okay. We're going to have a good guy who will be talking about design thinking. He's a friend of mine for almost 25 years. He's an entrepreneur, he's a professional, he's a speaker of note. As an entrepreneur, to succeed in this competitive space. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Bonga Kumalo a round of applause. I think we can do better than that.
Thank you very much.
If this Kia Sahau, come to me so I can give it to you.
Are we good? Thank you, Baba Masiza. Want to clap for Baba Masiza? Good. Awesome. Really appreciate the opportunity. EmpowaWorks, the funders of this encounter, we are grateful. My name is Bonga Kumalo. My life is all about developing entrepreneurs. For the last 15 years, I've been developing entrepreneurs in school and out of school. I teach learners how to start and run profitable businesses. So that is my calling, to challenge you to be able to start and run your own business. In the few minutes that I've been to talk to you, I'm going to talk to you about design thinking. Somebody say design thinking. Let me just take a browse and ask you, what is design thinking? Any volunteer? Yeah, they're by the door. Oh, there's a mic for you. So it's going to be quite an interactive conversation. So be prepared to, I speak,
Hello?
you speak, we have a
Hello?
conversation, a
Can
dialogue.
you hear me?
Yes,
Oh, design thinking. Oh, good afternoon.
afternoon, Baba. Get in the bed.
Design thinking strategically
Okay.
for whatever, anything that you want to do in business. It
All right.
depends on how you want to do it, and it should be innovative enough.
Okay. So that's design thinking. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Design thinking is a process of creative problem solving. All right? It's a creative way of solving problems. If your business as an entrepreneur, we don't run businesses for fun. We don't run business for beautiful business cards. We don't run businesses to get into a beautiful meeting at Mug and Bin. We run business to make profit. All right? I'm over for a meeting that I'm excited that I'm having a meeting with you at Sentence City. I'm over that. If then a meeting does not bring me money, ain't no coming to that meeting and easy. Am I talking to entrepreneurs here? Uh-huh. So uneasy. Let's talk first. What are we going to discuss in that meeting? What are we going to talk about? How are we going to solve a problem? If your business does not solve a problem, it's going to die a natural death. So the question is, what problem is your business solving? So design thinking is a process of creative problem solving. Not just solving a problem, but creative way of solving a problem. Next slide. There are 5 stages of design thinking. Number 1. Number 2, define the last one is testing. The next slide. Came from school and he's got to get water, fetch water from the river to home. And by the time he gets home, probably the bucket would be half. So we need to design a solution for this particular boy. So that is our work as entrepreneurs. Hello? That is our work as entrepreneurs. To be able to identify a need and be able to come up with a solution. Sorry. To be able to come up with a solution for that need and be able to communicate value proposition. Next slide, my brother. Defining a problem. What is a problem? How does the problem affect people? How does the problem affect that boy? 2, how many people are affected by this problem? Before ngiba excited, you're telling some queen. How many people need magwinya? Before I get so excited with the business, you see the problem of entrepreneurs, you get so married to your idea so much that we can't even help you to get right with your idea. Am I supposed to keep quiet? Oh, all right. So, what is the cause of this problem? What caused that problem we just saw? Because you can't solve a problem if you don't know its source. You got to realize its source. Where are the people affected by this problem? Geographically, where are they located? Where is the problem affecting the people? Oh, sorry, why is
last mile is key, that you cannot talk about the growth of e-commerce and it becomes very efficient without the last mile becoming a very effective service for the people. So now, what have we seen in our country? We have seen many people sitting
The
in their
problem,
houses. You order food, whether from Uber Eats, and then there is a guy with a scooter who comes and then they deliver the food for you. You order something from Take a Lot, there is a guy with a scooter who comes and make those deliveries. Now, the last mile is not a scooter service per se. The last mile can happen with a bakkie, the last mile can happen with a truck, the last mile can happen even with a private car, sedan cars. You have seen some of the young ladies that will deliver the part.
Yeah? Yes, Sissy, we don't need school, we need education. Yes, I'm talking to entrepreneurs. I'm talking about design thinking, so I'm going to change the way you think. Is that okay? You don't need school, you need education. A school is a possible solution to the need for education. Because there are a lot of them who go to school, but they don't get educated. So, when you're running a business, what is the need for the business? We don't need clinics. We need health care. So, if we then need health care, why don't you give us the 40 million you're about to build a clinic with? And let us go and buy buses, paint them, spray paint them, and pack them with healthcare. And you pass ibese Everton, and you pass ibese Zone Mang Mang, and you pass ibese Drizik, and you pass ibe Ngapa. All the buses are there, so that the granny cannot walk a distance to a clinic. Am I talking to entrepreneurs here? Good. So we need to think about it. Now, we don't need libraries. Why spend 40 million on a library when you can take the very same 40 million and give us free internet access so that we can get to the cloud and get information? So there are two kinds of innovation. There are two kinds. You see, as a speaker, you don't put everything on the board. There are two categories of innovation. Number one, somebody say revolutionary innovation. Okay, let's back a little bit. What is innovation? Innovation is coming up with a new thing or improving an existing one. That is innovation, right? There are two kinds of innovation. There's revolutionary innovation, where we totally disrupt the way things were done. All right? Now, I have a cell phone. Before the cell phone, you needed to do what? You needed to write a letter. And tell them. But today, you write an SMS or a WhatsApp. That's what? Radical revolutionary innovation. You agree? Then number two, we have evolutionary innovation. Evolutionary innovation is when something continues to evolve, when something continues to improve. When something continues to improve, it's evolving. That is the second category of innovation. All right? So now cell phone allows me right now to be able to make a call, to send an SMS, to do banking. That is evolving. So if your business, can an entrepreneur say yes? If your business is not evolving, it's going to die a natural death. Right. There are three types, two categories of innovation, three types of innovation. Number one, product innovation. Product innovation. Now, check this out. How many of you got BlackBerry? Askis BlackBerry. BlackBerry. All right? How many of you got BBM? How many of you got Mixit? So, BlackBerry, they owned the space. And they relaxed owning the space. They did not see Samsung coming. They did not see iPhone coming. They did not see Huawei coming. That's why they were left out of the space. So if you are not improving your business, you are going to die a natural death. Mixit. You remember Mixit, Mos? Mixit did not see WhatsApp coming. So remember, Siswami forward, whatever you have started now, somebody is studying how are you doing it. And they're working on it, on improving it. Let me give you, do you know what is a competitive advantage? Do you know what's a competitive advantage? It's when you thrive and operate on your own, at your own level, while other people are operating the very same business, but they can't match you. That's a competitive advantage, all right? So you need to have a competitive advantage. So that come out of the red ocean where there's fight.
Then we take you through the training now, the practical training on how to ride a motorbike. That's where it gets to be challenging, but it's a good challenge because you are acquiring a skill that you can use in the future. Now, when you have passed that stage and you get your license, of course, you go for testing, you pass that, then something very interesting that we do, we've got our third-party partners that have partnered with us in the project who provide then the motorbike on the rental basis. We wish, we are praying that one day maybe the government can do the sponsorship of motorbikes. But we have got third-party partners that are providing the bikes on the rental basis to get our entrepreneurs started. And then from there, you are able to be contracted.
You need to identify a gap within the BNP space. Number one, there are people who go to soccer, Orlando Stadium, they watch soccer, and they end up at 10 o'clock. Abanye bahlala eTshwane, Pretoria, says, mina sengikhathela ngisabuyela eTshwane. Ngono ngihlale vele la, bangene BNP. Oh, na usukele umuntu akaphethanga impahla ngithi. Mina ngizothatha imanti, ngifake i-face cloth, ngifake i-toothpaste, ngifake i-toothbrush, ngifake yonke, and then sell it to the BNPs. So I'm within the BNP space. Understand, ne? Nangizwa masane? Yeah. So there is a gap for you in Orange Farm. There is a gap for you in Everton. There is a gap for you in Spokane. Wherever you're coming from, there is a gap that you need to be able to fill. Understand, ne? Yeah. Play the video, my brother, so that people can see when I talk about a problem, what I'm talking about. Just 2 minutes. Look at these people, what they do.
Itong lugar namin, Sitio Maligaya 2, San Vicente, San Pedro, Laguna.
Siyempre, alam mo naman, ganitong lugar, squatter area, tabing release, dikit-dikit ang bahay.
Madilim talaga rito sa lugar ko na to.
Wala kami dito sa loob, lagi kami sa labas.
Nadadapa kasi madilim, yung dadaan mo, hindi mo alam, may nakaharang.
Tutulog na lang ako, wala ilaw eh.
Ang tawag nila sa akin dito si Mang Dimi Solar. Napaliwanag ko yung mga bahay nila madilim. Bubutas ka ng yero, lalagay mo yung bote, lagyan mo siya ng sealant, bago lagyan mo siya ng tubig na mineral, lalagyan ng sunrops. Bago kabit mo sa bahay, lagyan mo sealant mo para hindi tumulo. Ganun lang kasimple yun. Dati yung ito kadilim nung bago ko pagkapitan. Ngayon nung kapitan ko na, ito na ang liwanag niya. Yan ang liwanag.
Pumili po ako kasi bote lang, tubig. Maliwanag na yung bahay mo.
Bumaba yung ano ko, binayaran ko ngayon. Simula nung makabitan ako nito. At saka itong solar bottle bulb na to, hindi mainit.
Dahil sa buti na yan, sa solar na buti na yan, gumanda ang araw namin.
Ang nalagyan na namin ito ay bali 643. Gusto nga namin tuloy-tuloy para marami nga matulungan mga tao rin na yung maliwanagan mga bahay nilang madidilim.
Parang katulad na rin ng bumbilya. Dati natin.
So what was the problem there? Darkness. Did they go to the government? What did they do? They looked around themselves. Isn't it? They came up with a what? An idea. They identified the problem and they satisfied an idea. So you in this room are problem solvers. So you solve people's problems and in turn they give you money. That's what you do. Next slide. Then you need to prototype. You need to prototype. You need to build what Mr. Masiza was saying to that guy. He needs to be able to bring and showcase how his product would work. How would we product improve? So people want to pay for things that solve their problems. When you're an entrepreneur, you pray, we pay. When I pay you for solving my problems. And the last stage is the testing stage. You need to be able to test your thing. How does it work? Let us taste it. Let us feel it. Let us experience it. Let me tell you something. McDonald's is not selling you burgers and chips. Do you agree? Yes. Do you agree with me? I'm saying McDonald's doesn't sell you burgers and chips. They are selling you time. Lockdown level 5, were you not able to make your own chips? Were you not able to make your own burger? Yeah, so they are selling you time. That's one of the things as entrepreneurs, you must know what you're selling. Because McDonald's, when you drive in there, there's a timer there. They should be done with you in seconds. Because if they fail to do that, that's why they move you to say, because they are working on what? On time. So as a business person, you need to know what you're selling. Discovery Health is not selling you medical aid. Should I tell you? Discovery Health is selling you health, not medical aid. Because the Angitbane app, the more you walk, you get points. The more you run, you get points. Angit. And the more you do, you get points, you get vouchers. And the more you are healthy, Angish. And the more you are healthy is the more you live long, Angit. And the more you live long is the more you get to pay them. So you must know what you are selling. You understand? That's why I was talking to that lady there, those who are making hair. Oh, one. Beauticians, nails. Okay, one. So you are not selling ukwenza kwenwelo, you are selling therapy. So abantu labafika kuwe ungathi bathu bababuha hulu man batina. No, they came for that. If you want to find out that guys do gossip, go to the barber shop. You understand? Go to the barber shop. So hayi ukuthi asikwazi ukuzigunda. Hayi ukuthi asikwazi ukuzigunda siyakwazi, but we like the experience here barber shop. So don't take away that experience. That's why your children always point you at McDonald's, because it's experience. Let me think. Branding is not just your logo. It's not just your tagline. Branding is an experience that you afford your customers. That's what they come back for, the experience. That's why children want to always go to McDonald's, because of the experience. So if I come to your shop and I'm not going to come back because you're not selling experience. We want experience. Aha. So you need to be able to sell that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is design thinking for you. Unfortunately, it's a presentation. It's not a workshop. If it was a workshop, we will be able to sit down, break down your ideas, and actually service it very well and package it again. You understand? Anna? So the essence of design thinking is a process of creatively solving a problem. Oh, it's an essence of solving a problem. Two things, and sinners. Can I share with you two things? What does Bill Gates have? Money, right? Petrus Musipe, Oprah, and you. Let me tell you. They have money, you have excuses. What are all those? And that's why you don't have, and you can't have money, and let me tell you a give one. I'm down. Last one. No. There's somebody who's got to come and speak as I walk to my seat.
No, we're still going to have questions for you.
Oh, okay. Two things. There's time. Time wasted is never regained. Time is like water spilled. You cannot put it back together again. And no one in this room is getting any younger. I assume that you arrived here at 9 o'clock this morning. And you're about to leave here around about 5. And by the time you leave here, you'll be older than the way you came in. So you've got no time to waste. You can't afford to procrastinate. Come on, Nana. Whatever idea you have that solves a problem, you need to start working on it now. Work on it now and push away the excuses so that you can have money. You got a choice too. You got a choice right now. It's either you pay now or play later. Or play now and pay later. I've got brothers we went to school with. They decided to play during school hours. And now they are paying. Now I'm playing. Because I pay. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not an easy thing in business. Be resilient. Ungaphela amandla. Izoba right. Izohlangana. I work with guys, I coach them. In the process, everything just simply comes together. I'm talking to people who are counting. When I met them, they were counting 100 rand. Today, they're counting contracts of 30,000, 60,000, 40,000. You understand? So it's a process. Running a business is not running lottery. So when you run a business, have a sense of vision and purpose. I've got a son, 7 years of age. My son is 7. And if you bring in a white boy who's 7 years of age, they are both in the same class, but not at the same level. You guys have got to change. Me and you have got to change the thing. My son goes to school to study for a profession. This one goes to school to study to grow his father's farm. This one studies for a job. My son studies for a job. This white boy studies for work. This boy needs to be exposed to complete a CV. This one will never complete a CV. So I'm saying hold on to your business for your children's sake. Abantwana benu bangayi esikolweni bayofundela umsebenzi kodwa bayofundela ukukhulisa ibhizinisi lasekhaya. So never give up on that business. It's the future of your family and a turnaround of your life.
Powerful stuff. While Popo yobiza opolina ngalokwi speakers lounge, let's take few questions for Orlando Obaba Obonga Kumalo. Few questions. He's here, full of energy, both intellectual or cognitive energy and great personality, and is committed to the cause of making sure that our kids, they don't grow up the way we grew up. We give them a better future and prosperity. Questions for Obaba Obonga Kumalo? He's still here. My brother, take that brother there.
Afternoon, good Samaritans. I just want to ask you a question. You have just touched my soul talking about your boy. As an African, I always think this. A white boy, his father has got hectares of the land. But us, black people, we have got square. How can you make your son to be inspired to do more in life? Thanks.
Okay. We'll take another one. Thank you so much. A lady, let's take the lady there. Comes out, you will answer all of them, and then we'll hand over to the next speaker.
Good afternoon.
I hope we can have time and that we can include in the panel. Thank you, Sisi.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're speaking to Agnes Lebona. I'm known to be, where I'm from, I'm known to be a person who speaks a lot. I talk a lot. I cannot stop until I sleep. So I would love to know, besides every other thing, I would love to know how do I get into the space that he's in. I'm a speaker. I love speaking. I want to see a person's face change when you speak to them, and that happens every time when I open my mouth and I talk about any other topic. So how do I do what you do? How do I get it right? How do I phrase everything? How do I start and how do I stop?
Cool stuff. Any question this side? You did ask the question some other time again. Okay, let's give him. Then we'll take the last one if there's a question. Oh, you guys don't have a question. Okay.
Molweni, igama lami ndungceba. I want to ask Babu Kumalo about innovation, because I started the business years ago on cell phone repairs and computer repairs. Then by the time I was innovative in terms of changing the business into a website design and a software design. Now, it's very difficult to market it around the place, and it's even difficult to go to those guys that they might support the services. Like, for example, I have a school management system that I already designed. It's a communication between parents and teachers at school, but then now it's very difficult to market it and to go to school and reach them and market the system. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's take the last one. Okay, let's take you, and then that's it.
Good day. My name is Morena. Sir, you spoke like I felt like you stole my idea when you spoke about clinics and stuff. Because Budmasiza never chose me when he was busy talking about businesses and choosing.
Don't complain. Remember, as an entrepreneur, you don't.
I'm not complaining. I'm just.
Because I remember there are 2,000 people. I can't choose all of them.
My point is, so as you said that everything about it, the way I felt it, I don't know how to start the way you thought about it. I don't know how to start. Where do I start?
Okay, you start where you are. And what I'm saying, you start where you are. You start with the ideas that you have. And because sometimes, and I can tell when you guys talk, you want 250,000, you want 500,000, one that. And sometimes you start where you are, you accumulate experiences, you have contacts, and then you build the product that you have. Are we all together, guys? Because not all of us are going to have a quantum leap. Sasa, so a seasoned business person, you start where you are. But attend trainings, go to NYTA, look at the programs that they're helping. But sometimes when you attend these trainings, it sparks certain ideas, okay? But you must start where you are. Guys, then I'm going to give it to, thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. I want us, before I can give to Ubabu Kumar, Ubabu Kumar has given us an idea, and I think we need to pursue this idea. And it's very innovative. I've not seen it. I don't know whether you have an IP on it, or can we? The idea that you're talking about of working with bread and what is that? Those bread and breakfast. You know, lodges, special bread and breakfast program. You know that package you're talking about, where you have Insipo, Ivaslab, Colgate. I've seen when I travel, sometimes there's coffee, but it's nice if Mafia go hotel, not hotel, in that space, at least to have that full package. I will want maybe 5 people, or not, maybe all of you think about it. I'm going to choose you randomly to come and present to us. Maybe if you come out while I'm emceeing, think about it. Maybe if you're still here, we can just do that after the keynote. I need 5 people to come and present and say, how can we make this work? Yeah, we're all together. How can we make it work? You know, think about it. Maybe let's do it kusasa. Let's do it tomorrow. But I'm not gonna select you randomly. I think that's what I'm saying. Then be prepared, research about it. Tell us go to, your targeted market, to target everybody, ufuna malini, and ufuna support engine. Are we all together? Let's see whether it will work. Baba Kumalo, you can answer.
Sure. Can I throw in another one there while you're there? Just to show you. For some reason, I do get ideas, and I don't get the grace and the ability to be able to implement them because I'm not supposed to. We're all struggling with uniform here, right? In terms of abantwana bethu esikoleni, angithi. And we have graduates who graduate grade 12, we have graduates who graduate grade 7. So the idea is, why don't you buy this uniform from labantwana? And maso uyithengile uyayilungisa and actually sell it kulaba bangena esikoleni.
Okay.
And then as you start with that, you'll be able to grow. And actually in your shop, then you have second-hand uniform and you have new uniform. You take the shoes you buy from them. You get a repairer odlozo ozolungisa izicathulo zesikole. Ngoba kusibo bonke abantwana noma abazali abakwazi uku-afford a brand new uniform.
That's true. That's true.
The thing. Unfortunately, universe and God does not give us in the same way. I do not know how to do that, but He gives me that idea. So that's why I'm giving it to you for free. You understand? Because keeping it is selfishness because I won't do it. Yeah, man. Let's answer the question. Now, Indians, Jews, Muslims, they take their children to their shop to teach them how to operate. That's why when you you start from there, Baba, to bring that child up in that system. You understand? Your children must take over your business. Teach them how to do that. Such that in system. I visited, I take my student and there's a session we call field trip. I take them to successful entrepreneurs. And the Baba says one, I took them to Promac. You know Promac? They make paint. And they make paint, they're white people. And while they were presenting to me, I get to understand that this is a brother, this is a sister. And the business was started by their father in the garage mixing paint. And the father inculcated this thing to them, whether they like it or not. And then now it's life to them. That's how you do it, Baba. That's why you do it. Speaking. You're speaking to the person who's running a speaker's farm, so he's got to help you with that. But what I can share with you, for you to be able to be a speaker, you need to be able to have a subject, a theme that you speak about. So that when people want you, for example, I was speaking about design thinking. Nobody can present design thinking the way I do. Not bad. Not bad. You understand? In seconds, you were able to understand what I'm talking about. You understand? I understand I'm in Orange Farm. I need to know how to speak to Orange Farm people. So nobody can do this like the way I do it. You understand? Understand? Yeah. And I don't compare myself with anybody else. You see, competition comes from comparing, and comparing comes from the lack of understanding who you are. You understand? If you don't know who you are, you compete. There's another question there. Innovation. Yo, innovation is a serious thing, bro. We can innovate. As I look at this bottle, I can come up with an idea. That's me. To say, how can we work around this? That's innovation. That's why I told you about the 2 categories of innovation. And did I give you the 3 types? Okay. 3 types. 1 is product innovation. Number 2 is process innovation. Sometimes the problem is that we are focused too much on the product. We don't go to the process. You see, process, we can sit on a laptop now and buy clothes right now. And we see somebody delivering clothes. That's process innovation. You know. Then there's marketing innovation. And those are the 3 types. Like I said to you, this is a presentation. This is a speaking engagement. It's not a workshop. We need to probably organize one so that we can and work on these things properly. There was another last one here.
I think that's it, Kumza.
So also, I mean, the person standing before you, Mr. Masiza, what you realize, what you see here is not just something that he thought about it yesterday. Some years ago, there was .com Bacha. There was investment speakers. There was Simpure Do It and Consulting. Today we have EmpowaWorks. So it's a process. Understand? And he's an epitome of what resilience is, what process is, and let's learn from him and embrace what he has gone through. I also answered you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. Make sure that you are in our database. Don't forget to register. I will ask Kubabu Kumaro maybe to have a full day workshop around design thinking. Maybe we can have 25 people so that then it's effective. But we can only do that. You can only get that opportunity if you're in our database. Make sure that we all get the SMSs. Okay, who doesn't get an SMS, Mr. Sandler? Okay, it means that you are not in the database. You must make sure that you go there, go registration, ask them to confirm that you're in the database because you should be getting an SMS. Are we all together? If you are not getting an SMS, you are not in our database. Go to, after Mona or Hussein, early, go to the registration, give them your name and the surname if you are in our database. If not, ask them and that your name must appear in the database. So all together, guys. But it's a waste for you to come here and yet we can't communicate to Luana going forward. Are we all together? Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Bonga Kumar another round of applause. Brilliant. Brilliant speaker. We're having our closing keynote speaker. Me Paulina, Aus Paulina, Manogorona Paulina. She's a PhD student. We can clap. In few months from now, we'll be calling her Dr. P. And I should be called Dr. P. And I remember I was in a function. The waiter keep on saying to this guy, "Hi, sir, can I help you, sir?" And this guy say, "I'm not here as sir. I'm still a doctor. Please call me a doctor," because say it's the highest. You know, but I'm joking because I think I was a bit arrogant in that one. But today, we have her. She's a director at Department of Economic Development, Tourism, and Environmental Affairs. Our Paulina will come and inspire us and give us marching orders, drop some inspirational nuggets, And I must also say that when we're working on this project, she has given us a lot of ideas and guidance and advice and contacts. And we are forever grateful to you, our Paulina. Let's give a round of applause. I think we can do much better than that. Ladies, we can do much better than that. We can do much better than that. Thank you so much.
Dumelang. Lekai. I'm Paulina as introduced. Ke mopedi, hence ke le dumedisa ka Sepedi. And just before I start, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much to EmpowaWorks. Thank you also to the great speakers that spoke. I mean, I was here during the launch on Sunday. The most incredible thing that I also learned is, as much as you can be invited to be a speaker, you must be aware that given the opportunity to form part of the group, there's always an opportunity for you to learn. So as much as I'm standing here, I've learned so much. I continue to learn so much. I was listening to Bob Kumalo and I'm like, oh my God, there's still so much to do. So it's an incredible crowd that is here. I celebrate you guys. I'm a young person, as you can see. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for making the time. Thank you for the commitment. Thank you for willing to learn. I think the basis of every successful individual is their ability, their commitment, their consistency, and their humility to learn. As I was preparing during the week, and I must say that nelintariste stress, because I was wondering, what do I get here and say? There's one thing I don't take for granted, is whenever I'm invited to speak, I realize that I'm addressing future presidents, I'm addressing future directors, I'm addressing future strategists, I'm addressing people that will sit across the table one day. And I will, thanks for the applause. I will walk into those boardrooms and I will engage with you. I'm saying this because as a young girl from Limpopo, I sat where you sat. I had the opportunity to be taught. I mean, as I was reflecting in preparation yesterday, one of the things that came to mind is I remember there were young people, they would drop them off in cars, and others would have branded clothes. I would always sit at the back as a tiny young girl, and one thing that I had in my mind is I have to make it. I have to get out of my current situation. So even when you are here today, always have that in mind to say, are you just coming here to tick the box? Are you coming here? Are you still here at this hour because they locked the gates and maybe said don't go out? Or are you here because you believe that you are capable and you want to see something greater come out of your life? As I mentioned, I sat where you were sitting, and as I speak at the moment, there are people here that are still my mentors. There are people online that are listening. And I became quite emotional because as I listen to you and as I look at you and I listen to your questions, I see myself a couple of years back. And I reflected on the people that made the time to come and speak and address. Truth be told, they did not know that they were speaking to what happens to be today a director at the Department of Economic Development. And I was humbled because I'm glad to give to them a return on investment. Why am I saying this? The people that come here, Masiza said it yesterday, that some of them don't even ask to be paid for the opportunities or the time that they make. So my heart's prayer is that even after this entire Empower Youth Week, make sure that you are able to give a good return on investment, even if it's just for yourself. They might not remember your name, but make sure that this is not a wasted effort. As I do a closing keynote, I'd like to acknowledge Masiza, and I'll tell you why. I met Masiza at about 2008, if I'm not mistaken, and it was just a coincidental meet and greet at one of the events that I was attending as part of the Department of Trade and Industry. And there's one thing I've noted, is his consistency. I'm saying this because sitting under this particular platform and talking about entrepreneurship, it is important that you pay attention to the principles that make an individual successful. Butmasiza Butsimpiwe has shown and demonstrated consistency throughout the years. And consistency finds itself in a group of words like steadiness, pace, reliability, regularity, meaning that it hasn't always been easy. Bab Kumalo mentioned the entities that he's ran through. And whenever I look at him and look at what he's done, it has been consistent but progressive. So if you are to be successful as an individual in your life, you need to be able to apply those principles. I did not start speaking yesterday. I used to teach Sunday school. And every time they asked me to come and teach them memory verses, I took it as seriously as I take the moment right now. Consistency is a principle, young people, that if we do not apply it, it doesn't matter what opportunity you get, you will not get anywhere. So make sure that given every opportunity, be it in your studies, be it in you working on an idea, you are consistent. Consistency also means that you will have moments of failures. You will have moments where you break down because things don't make sense. But consistency says, I do not give up, I get up, and I do it all over again. When I was asked to do the keynote, I said to myself, it would be pointless for me to impose upon you what I know. So it would be great instead for us to do the keynote together. And in planning for this, I came up with 3 questions that I would like you, we've got smartphones, others have booklets, just for you to reflect and write the responses to those questions. I'm not going to be marking them, I'm not a teacher, and I don't think I actually intend to be a teacher. But just to allow you to reflect on what you came here to do, what you have gathered, what you are looking forward to, and I will state the questions shortly. The reason I'm saying this is because my mother said to me at a point in time, he said, if you're going through a situation and you happen to visit a psychologist, unless you have counseled yourself internally, that session becomes pointless. You can get there and somebody tells you, no, don't give up, it's going to work out, until you tell yourself internally that I'm not going to give up, it's going to work out. That's why people still go to psychologists and come out and commit suicide. So people can come to this very event with the massive investments that have been made. Millions have been spent to put this together. But until you tell yourself or you allow yourself to reflect, why am I here? What have I learned? Those questions that becomes a constant, I call it sitting in a boardroom with yourself in your head to say, having had this experience, what do I want myself to become, or what do I want to see myself turn out to be? So the questions are as follows, and I'm going to run through them. Like I said, you write them on your smartphone, you write them in your book, you write them wherever, or even if maybe you are good at memorizing and responding in your mind, it's still okay. But the first question is, what did I learn? And I'm not just talking about today, but throughout the week. Life always gives you an opportunity to learn. It could be that you learned not necessarily through a presentation, but as you walk around, you realize, oh, now tents are being made using the structures. Maybe I could innovate and try something different. But what is it that you actually took out from this particular event? So that's the first question. And I'm still repeating it because I want you to reflect on it. I see people are looking at me, but my intention is to you to reflect on them, to say, what is it that I learned? Having spent my time, I'm one person I always tell my friends when they say, let's meet for lunch. I always calculate, roll on. I always put together the cost of what what has to take place before I show up at a particular place. So calculate that. Some of you guys left your mothers doing chores, your parents doing chores at home. It's a cost. There are sacrifices that you had to make. Some of you guys stopped studying today because you wanted to be here. So having done all that, what have you learned? The second question is, what do I plan to do with what I learned? And truth be told, sometimes you may not know, but that creates an opportunity for you to ask and to inquire. I know sometimes there are individuals, and I used to be one of them, scared to raise their hand and take the mic and ask a question. But if you know what it is that you would want to do, it gives you an opportunity to have that and approach somebody and seek help. And without having that as a foundation, it's difficult for somebody to guide you to what you want to achieve with what you learned. Third point, what do I do if I meet obstacles? Because truth be told, life in general and entrepreneurship as a space in which people participate has its challenges. The question is, what do you do if you meet a challenge? I was listening to Tibo Touch speaking yesterday to say there are some people that have let go of an idea just because they faced a challenge. And truth be told, your idea will be challenged. You will meet gaps, you will meet sort of obstacles. But sometimes those are just present an opportunity for you to refine what you are intending to do so that you are able to succeed. Before I proceed, I was told a story by one of the high school teachers in the village where my mother teaches. They'd invited a motivational speaker, and this guy gave his time to speak and to address, and obviously took them through his life journey, the challenges, the pains that he went through. And at a point, at the moment of reflection, they asked the students, what did you guys hear? And the response was, we just heard about his struggles. So ask yourself, having heard and had the opportunity to sit here, what is it that you take out? People don't just share their story for you to feel some form of sympathy, but there's a take-up you need to pull out from their stories to be able to improve your own story. I wrote this line this morning. It says, you get out of an environment exactly what you want to pull out of it. And I'm going to dwell on this point a little bit. I've had the privilege of being mentored by masculinity, a lot of male people. And I'll tell you why I'm hinging on this point. Bab Kumal, a lot of people would say, men like using women and blah, blah, blah. But most of the time, it's what is it that in a particular setting are you trying to pull out? Throughout my years of mentorship, whoever I meet, my objective already, even when I go there, even if it could be a Will Smith or it could be a Petrus Motsepe, because my objective is to learn and to grow, you pull exactly that out of him. But if you go to a place because you want to slay, I promise you, you will leave being a slay queen. So ask yourself, when you are in a particular place, what is it that you are looking for? Some people come here, all they want is to meet the next celebrity. Trust me, you'll get the pictures. They love posing. I mean, that's their career, that's their profession. But whatever it is that you go there in with, that expectation, that's exactly what will be met. So even as you proceed this entire week to participate in the event itself, ask yourself, what am I here for? Was I here because they said Sumizi is coming? Was I here because Sonia Mbele is around? Was I here because I'm hoping just to get money and see what I do with it? Ask yourself, and do not be scared to confront yourself to say, maybe I need to revise what it is that I'm there for. I'm telling you this, young people, because I know you're going to make it. And can I please take a moment to speak to my ladies? It's a rough world out there. If you do not establish your principles now, while you're sitting on this chair, when you get popular, it gets tougher. There will be people that dangle a carrot of opportunity at you because they want to sleep with you, and I'm going to be explicit with it. But if you have your principles set, I promise you, you will make it. I worked with Me Omongo. She went on pension last year at the age of 60. She said something to me. She said, I worked at the DTIC for 13 years. I left last year to move to the province of KZN. She said to me, I worked here for over 20-something years, and I walk the streets of this campus with integrity. And one of the things that I want to leave with you is, be it you are going to be a career woman employed by a company, or you're going to run your own business, maintain your integrity. That will it will take you the long haul, I promise you. It's a rough world out there. Young men, it's equally the same. There are people that will dangle opportunities, but work on your principle. Try and find within you, what is it that I really value the most, and work hard to establish yourself on that front. Am I clear? I'm not going to impose it on anyone, but that's what I can share because I'm passionate about young people. I'm a young person myself. I will tell you in my closing the many things that I do. One thing that has kept me intact and that has brought me this far is being able to have integrity and standing for it irrespective of the cost. It's tough. We want opportunities and the likes, but don't sell your soul just for the sake of an opportunity. I'll share a couple of principles as well, and I mean, I anchor my life on principles. Distractions. We are young people, we are living in a world of information. There's so much going on. Please do not allow yourself to be distracted. And I'm going to give practical examples. When I was doing my matric, my neighbors who were also doing matric used to tell me, because you're consistently studying. Right now, when they look at me, they're like, an opportunity. I don't look down on them, but I say to myself, had I allowed myself to be distracted, I wouldn't be where I am today. In terms of your social media, Instagram, WhatsApp, and all that, it's all fancy stuff. But I would encourage you to say, try and search for things that actually align you to where you want to go. I am on Instagram and Facebook and the likes, but my most favorite platform is LinkedIn, because consistently I'm being challenged in the places of where I want to go. If you want to be in media, entertainment, Instagram and the places are the places, but try and pull out the threads of inspiration when you are in those particular places. So don't just be on a particular platform because you want to be on a particular platform. Don't allow yourself to be distracted just because you're busy studying, you're writing maths tomorrow, your friend checks in Dubai, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I should have been doing something else. Allow yourself, keep the focus, have a steady pace in everything that you do, and I promise you, whatever it is that you dream of will be achievable. I'm saying this because I hang around a lot of people like Ubud Sims that drive, I love cars, that drive the cars that I want, but whenever I would see them and the things that they are able to achieve, my aspiration has always been, I'm going to work hard and I'm going to be able to get to that level, and if possible, even get even higher. And trust me, with that steadiness, that focus, and that consistency, there is nothing impossible. Another point is don't quit on something just because your friend doesn't believe in it. The Wright brothers are the guys that invented the first plane. I can imagine, mommy, I'm going to make a flying kite. It's like, whatever. But truth be told is there's a lot of ideas, creativity, innovations that lie within you. And some of them may look basic. You know, sometimes our creativity is as obvious to us as our next breath. And that's why we hardly work on it. Already you're looking at, I don't know, creating something massive, but only to find that that massive thing lies in that little bit of an idea that you're overlooking. So just because your friend doesn't believe in it, just because someone doesn't believe in it or understand it, trust me, somebody else does. I'm constantly being asked by my friends, why are you doing a PhD? Like, what is it going to help you with? If I was another person, because of the way this thing is stressful, I could have quit it a long time ago. But look at how far it has brought me, and this is but an example of how far it has brought me. Before I move on to my parting shots, I wrote this post about a week ago on WhatsApp talking about infrastructure. To say one day I wish to address the concept of infrastructure as an enabler to opportunities. And I know when people think infrastructure, they're thinking electricity, roads, and that's correct. That's the correct definition. But I was talking about infrastructure as the structure that you build before to enable an opportunity. Because any underdeveloped or any infrastructure done wrong can actually destroy good. The infrastructure I want to talk about among young people is the infrastructure of the mind. Can we kindly invest in our minds? And I'll tell you why. The reason we have things like, well, I blew it, there's nothing wrong with the money. There's everything wrong with the infrastructure on how to maintain the wealth. Truth be told is, if you don't know what you are going to do with $1 million, you are not ready for it. Allow yourself to sit there and be taught. Young people sitting in class and listening, that teaches you the discipline of understanding an industry the day you are going to work in it. It's all about discipline, it's all about principles. So what we want to do is we want to quit all the fundamentals and rush to, Somizi put it this way, he said, we don't want the story, but we want the glory. The reason you find entrepreneurs, I was looking at Proverb, the presenter our idols, has gone back to school to read Genesis. Because you know what? Sometimes your skill and your craft can get you this far. but it cannot get you beyond that. So allow yourself to consistently invest. Obab Kumalo, when you were speaking here, he doesn't speak once and walk away. He goes and prepares. It's a constant investment. So I am begging you, young people, amidst of the many things you aspire for, aspire to invest in the infrastructure of the mind. It will sustain any form of opportunity, any form of wealth that will come your way as an entrepreneur or even as a career person employed as a colleague. I want to give you a couple of parting shots before I close. And this is from one of the great writers that I admire so much. T.D. Jakes is also a preacher. The first one is, there is an old person that is living within you that is depending on you to be successful. That's the person you will be tomorrow. That's the person you will be in 5 years' time. That's the person you will be in 10 years' time. When you are sitting here, that person is begging you, saying, I am begging you, please focus because I'm going to need you to be successful. I know we like the line, you only live once. Guess what? You can live till 100. And it's going to be a hard rest of the 60 years that you played with. Ask yourself, do I just want the memories, the check-ins or whatever? You are going to have children. You have to invest for them. So there's a young person, an old person within you that's begging you, literally saying, please just finish that module. Please just push through that idea. Please just go to that exhibition stand and see what's going on. Because that's what will sustain you when this event is over and 22 is over and there are many years that still lie ahead of you. The second point, do not waste the prime years of your life. As a young person, these are the most active years of your life. Go at it at all costs. I tell people this, and I'm not saying you must be like me. I've never taken a study break since crèche. I've literally done every course, I've gone through every phase. When at work they'd say there's a free certificate, I'd go and sit under it. Let me tell you something. Sometimes it's not what you want, but it will be the thing that leads to the thing. I've literally done everything. I remember I'm a graduate, I'm an economist by background. When I even started working at the DTIC, I was an intern, and when my contract ended, there was a job, the permanent post of making tea. That was my first role. I could have said, I'm too qualified. I'm an economist. Why should I be pushing trolleys and making tea? But even if it's not the thing, it's the thing that leads to the thing. I managed to build at that level making tea. I contributed to the development of the medium, heavy, and commercial vehicle strategy. And had I not pushed that trolley, the manager wouldn't have seen my curiosity and brought me into the meetings to be able to hear what exists up here. As a young person, again, don't care about whose name you wear. Care about your own name, building your own name. I think most of the time we are fascinated by, our gold waist belts that spin, the Louis Vuittons, and we are fascinated, and those are the people that maybe gain prominence on social media and the likes. But as a young person, that shouldn't be your biggest focus. Ask yourself, whose name am I building? And that should be your own. I was talking to a young person during lunch, and I said to them, I'm a brand, and I carry myself as such. To a point where I actually even started preparing myself for where I want to be, and I will get to it as the next point. So as a young person, amidst of the many people you've met here and taken pictures with, and your social media looks popular and nice, ask yourself as I'm sitting there, in a couple of years to come, who will I say I am? Work on building that brand, work on building that individual. But Simpiwe right now, if you go on social media and say EmpowaWorks, he wears his own name, and that's why he can sit the way he's sitting there. So I encourage you to work on your own name. It's not going to be easy, but build yourself as a brand. Try and go at it at all costs and benchmark. Choose role models wisely. I always benchmarked at the age of 18 against Thabo Mbeki. I was extremely ambitious. I Googled him and I checked all the certificates he studied. I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to do the same thing. And I stand proud now to say I have learned. I may not have all the wisdom and knowledge that he has as by virtue of experience, but I managed to benchmark and find a role model that directs me to the place of where I want to be. So do the same thing. Benchmark yourself where you want to be. Stick close to those people. Sometimes they're far from reach, but mentorship doesn't mean a person needs to hold you by the hand. Mentorship, it's you paying attention to the particulars of that individual and actually carrying yourself in that line in an effort to improve yourself. In closing, I mentioned that in my aspiration to dream and to be where I want to see myself in the future, I wrote a piece which I'm going to put in the Forbes magazine when I'm featured there. And mind you, this is when I will be interviewed by Oprah. And the question that Oprah would have posed to me is, what has made all the difference? And this is my response. I said, Oprah, thank you for the question. It's not that I consider myself to be any better than anyone. But truth be told is, I stayed awake when others slept. I sacrificed when others gave in. I asked a couple of questions when others were satisfied with just enough. And of course, grace backed me up, and this is where I am today. And to answer your question, Mrs. Winfrey, this is what has made all the difference. In closing, I am Leflogonolo Paulina Mamorobo, raised by a single mom in the villages of Limpopo. I'm a director at the KZN Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs. I'm an adjudicator of the TT100 Innovation Awards under the Da Vinci Institute. I'm a founder of Mamorobo Property Investments, TK Advisory, Cup of Coffee Chats podcast. I'm a consultant for a UK company called Speyside. I'm a PhD student, and I'm a speaker working on my first book. I am saying this to say, if I could do it, you can do much more. Don't limit yourself. Thank you.
Wow, wow, simpeni izandla futhi, wow. Lalela. You are well able to become what you want to become as long as you know that you have the vision. Somebody say vision. Somebody say vision. Somebody tell your neighbor, I'm well able to become who I want to become.
All right. Thank you so much, Mpopo. Let's give him a round of applause, Caesar.
Hey, Kusiami. I'm a
colleagues, this is it. Aus Paulina, thank you so much. She had to fly all the way from KZ to come and talk to you guys. This is how special you guys are. I do more Johannesburg, go KZ and get director. She flew, got Chelete high. She arranged accommodation, got Chelete high. Akhana atlamona, got Chelete high. Abua gape, got Chelete high. Ralebua Aus Paulina. We thank you for the commitment and the passion you have. May God give you grace and favor. Guys, we're done tomorrow, 7 to 9. Make sure your name appears in the database. I think we have the minister in the morning, and then we have entertainment. But tomorrow, 7 to... remember, gates Dikwala Ka 9. You must be here before then. We'll see you tomorrow. May God bless you. Bye-bye. God bless you. Popo, can you give us a song?